Hello EDH enthusiasts, welcome back to another video, and in this one I'm showing off a Star Wars Commander deck I've built as sort of a knockoff of Universes Beyond. As I'm sure all of you know, I am obsessed with Magic the Gathering, but I'm also obsessed with Star Wars. As a sort of a side thing, I don't do it for YouTube, but I've wanted to combine my two passions for a long time. So I created 6 Commander decks for a pre-con Universes Beyond Star Wars edition. So, for 200 subscriber special, thank you all for subscribing, I will be revealing the first one, the Jedi Knight themed deck, Sense the Future. Alright, for the commander for this deck, who else is a better commander to lead the Jedi than Master Yoda, the High Counselor on the Jedi Council? He has all of our colors, white, green, and red, and is a 2/2 with haste and vigilance, showing his speedy and also accurate attack style. Most pre-con commanders lately have had some sort of card advantage ability built in, so whenever you would put a card on top of your library while scrying, instead draw a card. Scrying seems like a very Jedi ability to me, sensing the future and deciding your fate, but if you put it on top, you should get the knowledge of knowing what's coming next and dealing with it, so you get to draw the card instead. Next up, we have Obi-Wan Code Follower. This also has all of our colors and can be run as the commander if you so choose. When Obi-Wan enters the battlefield, you scry 4. This is crazy. You get 4 deep and you get to choose how it's going to come. Obi-Wan starts out as a 2/2, but as you choose to follow the Jedi Code and put the cards on top while you're scrying, he can become a 6/6 for 5 mana. Another option for your commander is Luke Skywalker Last Master. This 6 mana 5/6 with Vigilance allows you to copy all of your abilities that are activated by scrying. This is very powerful in this deck, as a lot of the Jedi's abilities are activated by scrying, and doubling up on them can be very powerful. Qui-Gon Disobedient Master is another Jedi that gives you a huge amount of scry when it enters the battlefield. But this comes with a downside, as since Qui-Gon doesn't follow the will of the Council, you must put a card on the bottom of your library every time you scry. We also have Anakin Skywalker Not a Master. This shows Anakin's hatred of the Jedi Code by removing white from his casting cost. And as he is aggressive, more aggressive than any other Jedi, he has trample and haste. And he can increase the effectiveness of your scrying, being the chosen one and increasing the power of the Force. But what about the droid attack on the Wookiees? This is where Ki-Adi-Mundi, Master of Suspicion, comes in. This 2/2 for 2 gives you repayment when you have to put a card on bottom while scrying, by giving you an additional scry. Master Mundi isn't our only mono-colored Jedi in this deck. We also have Plo Koon, Warrior Master. Plo Koon is renowned for his skill in combat, and is fought in many different battles throughout the Clone Wars. So, he's able to get you extra combats while you scry. At 6 mana, this is a powerful card for this deck. And despite everyone's dislike for the sequels, I couldn't leave Rey out of this list, but I could make her pretty weak. 4 mana 3/3 that scries you 2 is alright in this deck, just not super powerful. But we can't ignore our animated friends from Rebels, so here's Kanan Jarrus, Rebel Leader. Kanan is not focused on the Force as much, and focuses more on destroying the Empire, so he functions as more of a finisher in this deck, being a 7/7 with Trample for 6 mana. We also have Ezra Bridger, his apprentice, who's a 3/3 that gets more powerful as long as he has someone to follow. Ezra never finished his Jedi training, so being able to follow a more powerful Jedi is exactly what he needs. He also helps you to scry, as long as he's able to damage something. There are far too many Jedi to represent on cards, so we also have the generic Jedi Knight. This is a non-legendary Jedi that gets a little bit of scry payoff and is also a decent attacking creature. But these Jedi Knights need someone to train. That's where Jedi Youngling comes in. This 1 mana 3/2 is a very powerful attacker, but is susceptible to the ways of the dark side, like most Jedi Younglings in the Star Wars universe are. And of course, you can't forget one of the most iconic faces of the prequels, the Jedi Temple Guard, which gives you scry payoffs and can also help you block. But you don't have to be a Jedi to be included in this deck. Ahsoka left the Jedi Order and yet still found a place in this deck. Whenever you put a card on the top of your library while scrying, you can attach an equipment to her. Hera is another powerful non-Jedi creature in this deck. Hera allows you to scry whenever a vehicle she crewed deals damage, and there are a couple vehicles in this deck, but you'll have to check out the full deck list to see those. We also can't forget Padme and Leia, two of the most powerful female characters in Star Wars who aren't Jedi. When Padme dies, she fuels Anakin's anger, so that's why she can give you extra mana upon death. And what is a Jedi without their lightsaber? This deck is packed full of lightsabers of all different types that all help your creatures to be more powerful and have a higher connection to the Force when they deal combat damage to players. Now, I obviously haven't gone over every card in this deck. There are many more cards, including removal and card draw and life gain and all the necessary parts of a commander deck. There's ramp, there's special lands that I would highly recommend you go check out. And speaking of checking them out, there's a link in the description and in the pinned comment to a Google document with all of these cards. But one commander deck isn't enough for a good Universes Beyond set. So, I will be making more every 100 subscribers I get. The next deck will come out at 300 subscribers, and at 400 I'll release another one, and at 500 another one, and I'll continue until I've released all 5 decks that I have designed for this. So, click that subscribe button so you can see the next deck, and make sure to go check out the rest of these decks.